Ooh, welcome back to Amazin But True, our New York Mets podcast from the New York Post. That montage you heard courtesy of SNY, ESPN, and WCBS 880 AM. It's Jake Brown and Nelson Figueroa here coming at you again. And boy, oh boy, Figgy, do we have a lot to get into. We have a jam-packed episode of the show. Later in the program, we'll be joined by one of your Staten Island FerryHawks players. That'd be Kelsey Whitmore, who became the first woman to play and start in a MLB-affiliated, MLB-partnered league for the Staten Island FerryHawks on Sunday. Great conversation coming with her, but we got to get into a lot of Mets stuff first. Holy cow, we got a no-hitter to react to.
Good morning. Good morning.
Buenos dias, my neighbors. Good morning, my neighbors. Lindor was mic'd up. The Mets beat the Phillies 2 out of 3. Death taxes, and the Mets winning series yet again. They're 7 for 7 in series wins, beating the Phillies. Foo the Phillies. That was a great series win at Citi Field over the weekend. That began with a no-hitter and ended with Johan Lopez still continuing to be the designated throw at opposing teams guys. We barely know the guy, and he's become this guy as the staple. But the no-hitter to react to. But Figgy, we would be remiss if we didn't start with the breaking news that luckily happened before we started hitting record here today. Robinson Cano has been designated for assignment. Lopez, unfortunately, the other guy to go, but we knew that. But Figgy, this came down to Robinson Cano or Dom Smith, pretty much, or Travis Jankowski or Guillorme, but a lot of people thought it'd be Dom or Cano. The PR statement, if they sent Dom Smith down after a 4-for-4 day, 3 RBI day, the fact that he's a fan favorite, the fact that he's younger, cheaper, and more likable, didn't use PEDs, it would have sent the completely wrong message. This was a statement move to eat the $37+ million by designating him for assignment, probably ending his tenure with the Mets, most likely. It's a statement that this team's not afraid to eat that money. Steve Cohen has that money. He wipes his ass with $39 million. And it's a statement that this team is here, and no matter how much you make, if you're not performing, you gone. And it's a new era of Mets baseball now. And I know, 99.9, maybe even 100% of the Mets fan base is very happy that Dom Smith stays and Robinson Cano goes.
Yeah, and it's the right move. It definitely is a statement by the organization and by ownership that it doesn't matter about the amount of money right now. It matters about what's best for the team and the direction that they continue to head. You've got players with versatility. You got players with speed. You got somebody like Janikowski who can, play the outfield defensively, a great guy you can double switch with later on in games. Dom Smith, the bat came alive over this past week, batting over 400, getting more opportunities. So you're seeing this team starting to click on a lot of cylinders, and the dead weight was Robinson Cano in the contract. In previous times, the contract would have been the reason why he's still around, and they would have, spun it to say he's great in the clubhouse, he's a leader, he's this, he's everything you need, because, things will happen, and things will still happen. So there's bound to be an injury or two, and, hopefully you don't regret having released him so soon. But at the same time, you feel like it's covered enough when you have guys like Escobar who can play multiple positions. You have guys like Guillorme who can play multiple positions in the infield. McNeil himself can play multiple positions. And now you have that roster flexibility again to mix and match all the way around without having to play a guy just because he's getting paid a lot of money. So it's kudos to Steve Cohen and the rest of the brass for taking such a bold move.
And I was on the fence because, not with that decision, but I was on the fence with Cano because I don't hate him like a lot of the Mets fan base does, and he is a guy who notoriously does better when the weather gets warmer, but it's no time for excuses. This team is 16-7 in first place, and doing it with guys like Guillorme stepping in and doing things as he did Sunday night, with RBI hits. Dom Smith, 4-for-4, 3 RBIs. He's got 7 RBIs. Despite his struggles, he drives guys in, and he's, a better defensive player. Now, if you got rid of Guillorme, you're going to have Escobar spell Lindor at shortstop if that happened. And, he's not really a shortstop. He's a third baseman, second baseman. McNeil plays multiple positions but also doesn't play shortstop. So it kind of puts you in a bad spot. And it tells you that, yeah, like you said, Steve Cohen, that's nothing to him. He doesn't care about that. And the PED thing played a huge part in this. I mean, he let this team down, cheating for a second time, not only hurting the team, but hurting his legacy. He's not a Hall of Famer anymore, and he was a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, most likely, if he doesn't get that second PED. So it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for Metsies, and we're feeling good. Yankee Doodle Dandy, opera, 5th grade talent show, no big deal.
Pulled that one back out the archives.
Listen, I've been looking for that video. I mean, it's somewhere on VHS. Does anyone out there have we're still looking for my bar mitzvah video about those crooks took the video. We never had it. Anyways, in studio, still ADD. But this was.
When do we get to DFA Jake?
Yeah,
I've been DFA'd before, bro.
Wow.
You got to know what it feels like. I think you keep this up, you know.
How do I recover from getting DFA'd from a podcast? I mean, good. Anyways, I have not been DFA'd yet. I've been signed to a contract extension for my great work. Thank you very much. But I'm excited, man, because, you know, this is what we're talking about on Monday because the team is winning. And, excuse me, Friday. I'm so excited. No hitter, man. You know, usually we would lead with that. If we were on Saturday morning, we would lead with that. But unfortunately, it's a couple days later. And this is a new dawn, new day, new life for me. Is combined no hitters. You know, Tyler McGill was gas. He went 88 pitches. He wasn't going to go more than 6 innings. But this was special, and I was glad. I was at Johann's. I was at this one. Someone said my fashion game has gotten better since that picture. Some would argue the other way around, that maybe it's gotten worse. But from 21 to 31, from the Pepsi porch to behind the dugout, the glow up over 10 years. But this isn't about me. It's about the Mets. And this team, man, that was cool on Friday night because it was a unique one, Figgy, because no one realized, I think, till the 8th inning that there was a no-hitter happening. I was checking Twitter, and I was like, oh, they pulled McGill. And then I looked up, and I'm like, oh, it's 0. And you can't say much because you got the people who are like, you know, you're jinxing it, jinx. I don't really believe in that, but I was trying not to talk about it at the game and not say it to anyone. And I'm saying, you notice anything above the H on the scoreboard? Just trying to, like, do words around it. And it, you know, you're seeing things this weekend, this move, combined no-hitter, that show why we're excited, why this team is different, Figgy. And just the camaraderie with that game, with Alonso Homer, with, you know, no one being selfish, different guys coming in, Joely Rodriguez playing a part, Drew Smith striking out every guy he faced, McGill, again, continuing to come in for DeGrom and pitch like DeGrom, essentially. It's a testament to this team and the teamwork and the leadership and the resiliency. And Buck Showalter, again, just pushing the right buttons, knowing when to pull relievers, knowing when to put guys in, and no one saying, you know, I want to be that guy, I want to be the guy. This is a team effort. And Friday was special, and the first ever combined no-hitter in Mets history. Figgy, technically, it's the first no-hitter in Mets history if there was replay, because Carlos Beltran doubled. Yeah. So if the rules were in place, then this would have been history, but you know, a special night, a cold night at Citi Field. They did it June 1st. They're going to celebrate the 10-year anniversary on May 31st next month at Citi Field. The Tuesday, Johan Santana. And Johan was in Spain, so he missed it, but he had kind words to say. You know, a pretty special ending to the month for the Mets for what was a month that felt like a year of a Mets season just through April 30th.
Yeah, and the good part is that they're still on top. One of the best teams in baseball.
With the Yankees.
Playing, yeah,
New York.
Playing against people are always questioning the level of competition you're playing against. It's too soon. It's too this. It's too that. But they've won in so many different ways. The comeback win was also during this week where, you know, they were down so many runs and made that comeback. Then you see what they're capable of doing when, you know, not even having his best stuff. McGill still continues to impress. Goes out there, has 3 walks in the game. You know, the least impressive thing about a no-hitter is always when there's, you know, almost as many walks as innings pitched. You know, guys like A.J. Burnett, 9 walks, you know, and what was the last one? Jerome Williams, 158 pitches, and he had like 8 or 9 walks. Those aren't as impressive as a guy who goes out there and like had that 1 walk that kept him from a perfect game, you know. But when you have guys go out there and they did their jobs, and you know, your hat's off in the biggest moment had to be Drew Smith. 4 batters he faced, and they were, you know, long, tedious at-bats, and he winds up striking each one of the guys out. But 36 pitches in one inning, that's a lot, especially on a cold night. But he was able to do it, and then Edwin Diaz had that delay before the inning started. Remember how they were questioning the double switch and who went in for
what
where.
Was going on there?
That's just a technicality thing where the PA announcer had announced it in reverse, and so if for some reason the game got tied and they came up, then those guys would have been flip-flop because of the way the PA announcer announces things. That was something that happened to Mickey Callaway, where he walked out to change the pitcher before the batter was announced, and they were going to pinch hit. And so since the batter wasn't announced yet in the game, they didn't have to pinch hit for him. And they let the guy go back up there. That was against the Phillies.
It was one of his many blunders.
Right, man.
Batting out of the order.
And he tried to say that he meant to do that. So this is a situation where Buck went right out. I was like, hold on. I heard what the PA announcer said, but that's not what I wanted. I want to put this guy in this spot, this guy in that spot. And all you see is Diaz is standing there with the cold wind blowing, and you're like, oh, my God.
Well, it angered him because he struck out the side.
Please don't cool me off. And then the first pitch he throws is a hanging slider, and I'm like, oh, no. Then he goes and he cranks out Bryce Harper and, Castellano, and then Real Muto swung and missed at a slide. I was foot off the plate. But definitely special. And you're looking at it as, what can't this team do? When the lineup is clicking, it's deep. There's power, there's speed. The defense has done a nice job. You're not talking about errors and a circus around the infield like we were just a year ago. And even though the Mets were in first place for 100 games, what did you feel like last year? Like it's like one thread on a sweater that it's all going to come unraveling pretty soon. We could just tell. Mm-hmm. Now you look at this team and you're saying, man, if they're clicking like this and they continue to play this way and each guy is being able to contribute, and then you're adding DeGrom back in the mix, then it really gets mouthwatering as we head past the trade deadline.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the blunders we're seeing is occasionally – diving or a missed ball by Starling Marte is the Gold Glover on the team. I mean, that blunder, and then, death taxes and Marte getting thrown out at second base. On Sunday night, it was a single trying to stretch it to a double, and the other day it was trying to steal second, and then they challenged, and we thought it was going to get overturned, and it wasn't. I mean, that's kind of been the only blunders was a guy who steals bases and wins Gold Gloves. Yeah. So it's like, what bizarro world we're in. But otherwise, a couple Lindor throws have been off here and there, but otherwise you haven't seen, like you said, the Ringley, Barnum, Bailey act.
Remember when it was Med Rosario? It was, every throw, you just held your breath.
Yeah.
It was all the way around the infield. J.D. Davis at third base, you held your breath every time the ball
Guardians of the Galaxy have to worry about him now, dropping balls in the outfield.
That's why you love the direction this team is going in, because they paid attention in spring training to these details, these little things that don't seem like they would be a lot. Hey, they worked extra on a lot of these things. Pete doesn't get enough credit for what he does at first base, all the scoops that he makes over there to save errors. He's gotten a lot better with that. So while he's not Gold Glove caliber on his own, he made some great plays too down the line, throwing from his butt to get guys out at first base. And you're seeing a very high level of baseball and attention to detail like never before. These guys aren't just happy to be out there and just oh good, I cracked the lineup. They're wondering, situationally, what do I have to do? Where am I trying to hit the ball? What am I looking for? How can I beat a shift? Maybe he drops down a bunt. Maybe so. There's so many different ways that this Mets team can beat you. And what you really love is that they don't often beat themselves. That's something we're used to seeing in the past.
And the fan base sees it. There was electricity in the building. I was there for all three. And, after Friday, Saturday, as usual, after a no-hitter, more people come out. There were 40,000 people on Saturday. For Saturday in April, that's incredible. That doesn't happen for the Mets really ever. You see it, this Francisco Lindor bobble gnome may have played a part of it, and we have to talk about that. But first, before we talk about the bobble gnome, and I'll say it was 32,000, then 40,000, and 30. They averaged 33,000, 80% full for an April weekend series. Yeah. Shows you that the excitement is real. And I want to first, before we get to the gnome, as we're talking about the no-hitter and the Magical Friday, Spanish calls for big moments are always electric. So we're not going to do the Spanish Academy today, but we're going to do the Spanish Call Academy. And maybe you could translate what they're saying, but we got to hear courtesy of WEPN, and at Hofstra they told us to say W in kind of that emphasized word. That's my radio training coming out as Hart shakes his head. Let's hear the WEPN call of the final out in the no-hitter.
Se sale el bateador, lo protege el árbitro. Vuelve y se mete a
Stop
la
it.
caja de
Actually,
bateo.
you know what? Let's play the whole thing and then we'll break it down. Let's hear the whole call.
Vuelve y se mete a la caja de bateo JT Realmuto.
I know that, JT Realmuto.
Nice job.
Ya se prepara el derecho. Viene el lanzamiento. ¡Strike! Tirándole al tercero. Historia. Por segunda vez en la historia de esta franquicia. Se tira un no-hitter. 5 lanzadores combinados lo logran. Y estamos de nuevo en la historia con no-hitter de los Mets de Nueva York.
Well, okay.
Whoa. I feel good.
York, I feel good. Wow. Okay, so I know Nueva York, and I know Cinco is 5. Cinco de Mayo coming up this week, by the way.
Oh, my
so
God.
Get
It
your
is
cervezas ready. Cervezas.
unbelievable.
I know that beer. Let's go to the beginning of the call, and we'll break it down piece by. I thought I heard Astoria, but it was Historia.
Historia,
Which
yep.
is history, I assume.
Very good.
Not
Not a story.
I wanted Astoria. I was getting steak tidbits hungry. Put $1 in the jar. All right, back to the beginning of the call. Here we go.
Se sale el bateador, lo protege el árbitro.
Stop. Bateador. I learned that.
Protege el árbitro, protected by the umpire. So in other words, the umpire was giving him time to get back in the box.
Okay.
Vuelve y se mete a la caja de bateo JT Realmuto.
Now in the box is JT Realmuto.
Okay. Crowd noise.
Ya se prepara el derecho. Viene el lanzamiento.
Ya se prepara. Now he's ready. The pitch from the right-hander. And here it is. Strike.
Tirándole al tercero.
Strike tirando. Tirando de tercera means strike, throwing the third strike. And then he says,
Historia. Por segunda
Historia,
vez
for
en
the
la
second
historia
time
de esta franquicia.
in the history of the
Se tira un
franchise,
no-hitter. 5
a no-hitter has been
lanzadores
thrown.
combinados lo logran.
5 pitchers
Y estamos
combined
de nuevo en la
have
historia
done it.
con no-hitter
History for the
de los
franchise.
Mets de Nueva York.
And there it is.
Okay.
Wow, that's my man. I know that one. That's my uncle James Brown, baby.
So yeah, it's one of those things that when you have the radio broadcast, they're very passionate, man. The Latin broadcast, they get into it. They add a little extra flair to it. But I mean, Howie went above and beyond as well. I mean, a no hitter is a big deal, and even though Hearts is very disappointed, it was 5 pitchers, and he's a Yankee fan, and I get it.
Can we go back and play Howie's again? Let's play the Howie call one more time. And how do you say I feel good, by the way? That'll be our word of the week. Do you know how to say it?
Me sentí bien.
Me sentí bien. Me sentí?
Me sentí bien.
Me sentí.
Me sentí bien.
Metsati?
Not Met City.
Mets.
No, not. Oh boy.
Mets make me feel good. Mets sentí. Metsati.
Me
Me sentí
bien.
bien. Me sentí bien. Do. I knew that I would. All right, here's Howie Rose on WCBS 880. Here's the Howie Rose English Academy.
And this crowd, they don't care if it's taken 5 pitchers. They are pumped.
I didn't care. I was pumped.
Realmuto just outside the batter's box. Now steps back in. Diaz staring at
Entre
him
la
on the
caja.
rubber. Diaz looking into McCann.
Robert.
Diaz brings the hands together. The 0-2 pitch.
Hans.
Swung on and missed strike 3. He got him with a slider. Put it in the books. 5 Mets pitchers have combined to no-hit the Philadelphia Phillies. It is the second no-hitter in Mets franchise history. This one takes a village, but they
Hold on a
get it
second.
done.
So where did the James Brown come from? That wasn't on Howie's broadcast.
Did WEBN just have a music?
Because you heard what was playing back in the New York Groove was playing in the background of Howie's. There was no James Brown scream. That is odd.
All right, can we reach out to the WEBN broadcast and figure out where I Feel Good by James Brown? Maybe it played in their press box. Maybe they were just so pumped.
It's just weird because they were at the same exact time and you did not hear it on the Howie
Is
broadcast.
that the end of it? Does
yeah.
it? Let's
No,
see.
no, that would have been way past where it hit.
And they're celebrating out in front of home plate. All of the Mets clad in their black jerseys for the first time this year, jumping on
shot.
top of each other.
Yeah, wild.
So it's the first time they wore the black jerseys and a no-no. Go figure.
Wow. How do you say put it in the books? Do you know?
Mételo en los libros.
Okay, that might be another week of the Academy. So, Metenor la lisos.
Oh, good God.
That was my mouth after eating the spicy chicken sando. Oh, my goodness. Hottest, another dollar in the jar.
You just said dollar.
How do you say dollar?
Dollar.
Dolores? What is it? Sister Act 2? Dolores was Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act. How do I recover from Sister Act? Yes, hottest sandwich ever. They warn you, $15. He said you could walk away now. I said I will not walk away. Ate it. My mouth was on fire. Lakia was as well. Our mouths were burning.
Oh, big homie Lakia.
Big homie Lakia. Shout out Lakia, loyal listener of the program. Yes, great call, Howie Rose, friend of the program. And great calls keep happening by Buck Showalter. Now, another soundbite as we talk about the Lindor Bobble Gnome. We'll do an unopening. It's not as picturesque as a Seaver statue here, but it's pretty cool. It's a Bobble Gnome. And we'll play what Buck said. Here it is.
It definitely has the color scheme is not good enough. It definitely needs some kind of bright off colors. They went with the typical, blue and orange, but that's not Lindor fashion. It needs an arm sleeve, not a wristband.
Should have gone with a black jersey.
Should have gone with the black jersey.
And black jersey Friday no-hitter, and the next day you would think you go black jersey. Let's play because Buck was not happy. Let's play what Buck had to say about it.
We giving away bobbleheads for any of that? I finally got my Seaver one today. I wanted that one, and I got my Lindor one.
Receiver.
It's a gnome.
Next? Who's next?
The Lindor's a gnome.
It's Harold.
It's a gnome bobblehead.
You just ruined it for me. Who's next?
Laura, you're up.
No, I'm talking about what bobbleheads.
Doesn't want your question.
Who is the next bobblehead? Isn't it
I believe it's
Gary, Keith, and Ron?
I believe it's Pete Alonso Polar Bear Pete bobblehead in middle of May.
Oh, okay, and then there's a Gary, Keith, and Ron collection. I think they're doing it separate, so they're spreading out 3 games.
All 3 of them,
so
huh?
you got to get tickets to 3 to get a. I like it. I'm not in love with the gnomes thing. Like, I prefer a bobblehead, but it is a bobblehead. I guess the gnome is the pinpointy head.
Yep.
Which
And the
could mean other
pudgy
things.
body. I don't think that's a depiction of his
Yeah,
body.
this is like the Jake Brown version.
With the orange shoes, too. I'm going to get you your own. I might make you one.
This is like the Jake Brown, Ringley, Barnum, Bailey bobblehead.
I might
bobble
make
gnome.
you one, and I don't think it's going to be that hard.
I mean, this was me during COVID.
Instead of the
Yeah.
glove, it's going to be a chicken sandwich.
Yes, put a chicken parm hero in my hand instead
Yeah.
of the glove, or like cheese drip, because there's some things coming out of this. Put the cheese dripping out of my mouth. But please just give me teeth like that, because I need to hit the dentist. But give me white teeth like that. But wow, this is the chubby Jake Brown bobble gnome. I like it. Buck always delivering the heat with the good quotes. But really, we're pumped about this team. 16-7. Listen, the Mets and Yankees have the best records of baseball right now. Obviously, way too early to be like, here comes the Subway Series, World Series. But for New York right now, that would be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
With the turnaround that the Jets have done with their roster and franchise, with what the Giants hope to do, with the Rangers in the playoffs, shout out to them. Listen to Up in the Blue Seats podcast for Rangers playoff coverage. They're in the playoffs. The Mets are out, Yankees are out. New York needs this turnaround, and maybe this is the year. And, after what we've all been through COVID and shutdowns and lockdowns, this would really bring the city back, and bring the city back financially too, Figgy. I mean, you get 40,000 people in the building every night.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money coming in, and it's special. And you're seeing it with this team and this move, and the giveaways and the fun we're having. It's so much more fun talking about this team and talking about these teams when you win, because we've been doing the show and there's not been a lot of winning. We had a 60-game season. Not a ton of winning. We had last year where they were in first, but you kind of knew it wasn't going to be, a 100-win team. I said 94 wins, and obviously they're on pace to do that or better, and it's early, but it's looking like a fun ride here.
Yeah, besides a fun ride, I think they wanted to change the culture of where the team was, right? And questioning ownership and questioning what's this team doing, what direction is this team going in. I don't think there's any questions anymore, right? Everybody's all in on this team right now, and kudos to Steve Cohen again. $79 million he made in a down year last year, and proves that, there's a lucrative market for Met fans who are clamoring to feel like they're more a part of this team. How does he do that? He's bringing around a lot more of the old-time players. He's creating that connection again with the alumni of the organization. He's also, big into the community. Immediately, he and his wife, have charitable events all over the city and make it a point that the Mets are going to be a part of this city more so than ever before. It's no longer thought of, just as the Wilpons money. Mm-hmm. It's, the Mets' time. It's their time of they can give back just by being in certain situations, just by being at, having certain events at the stadium. Those are important aspects of it. And, when you do that, and not only do the players buy in, but the fans buy into it as well. And you're seeing just it's a really different vibe that's going on around Citi Field. And you're there way more than I am.
Every day. I've only missed one home game so far.
You're there way more than I am, but I think that's the idea, is that it's palpable all over the place. Like, people are starting to see each other in the streets and, starting to kind of give each other that nod of, hey, this could be the year kind of thing. And, yes, it's way too early to tell, but I love the fact that you're doing all this without DeGrom. In years past, it would have been woe is me and, not expecting much. But I think when you went out and signed a Max Scherzer as an insurance policy, it's a very expensive insurance policy, but look at what you're getting out of it.
Yeah, I mean, in the streets of Astoria in New York, I give the head nod to people in Mets gear. If I have it on or if I don't, I'll just go like this, or you both have it on. It's kind of a mutual agreement. But, yeah, we missed the news, but obviously the DeGrom news is that he is ramping up. Strengthening his load is some of the words. I don't know what that means. You and your kinetic chains could maybe tell me. But he's on a path. And Max Scherzer, you're seeing something different. This team backed him up on Sunday. 4 runs, team scores. The camera, I see in the video, Scherzer's pacing around like Mad Max. Like, he is pissed, even though I think the team is winning or is tied. He's like, I just gave him a freaking 4 run. And he's pissed, yet here's the offense backing him up, something they didn't do for DeGrom ever. So maybe DeGrom comes back and it's like, hey, Jacob, we know you've been out a while. We're going to score some runs for you this time. We've never done it for you. This is the year we're going to do it. And they did it for Scherzer. And as I said, McGill was great. Saturday they lost, but Walker was okay. They just didn't, there's nights
Walker was good, scoreless.
Yeah, he was great.
I mean, scoreless. He didn't have strikeout stuff, but again, he battled and gave you 5 innings right out the chute. So
there's going to be nights you just don't score. And again, it's cold out there. It's chilly. So
it's got to be a hell of a letdown after a no-hitter,
Yeah. Well, that's why they gave you the chubby Jake here. That's why they gave it to you. And
sounds like a bad Saturday night.
Yeah. But I will say, last night I was in the party deck for the first time.
That's fun.
Love it.
That's
there.
fun.
1, it's unlimited free beer, so that's pretty nice. But 2, it's like you're on the field. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to say to Jeff, we love Willow the puppy. He wasn't really acknowledging us. So that kind of sucked. But it is a cool seat there. Like, if you haven't experienced that, it's like you're playing left field. Like, I felt like I was in my 1 year Little League where I got 0 hits again.
Yeah, you're on that highlight. You're on that highlight in the, 8th inning?
When Jeff McNeil had the double to left center, you see me in the white jersey scooping up like the lobster bisque I did a little bit earlier in the night. Another $1 added to the jar. They ran out of the warm lobster rolls Sunday night. It was a little disappointing. I was scooping it like lobster bisque soup. And, yeah, it is a must sit if you go to a game. But I tried the lobster. If we keep doing every week updates on food, I try to give people the lobster chips, fully loaded, iconic, incredible. Get them. And then I did Hearts did it too, the cheesy tater kegs with the General Tso's chicken fingers. Now, I know some of you are salivating hearing that. It's worth it. I would say you need a fork for my fingers were a little dirty. They that's probably going to be added to the soundboard. But the fingers got a little bit dirty eating the General Tso. So probably find yourself a fork. You should, because we're not at Nationals Park, so you should get a fork and be good. But very good. And the tater kegs, very, very good. So highly recommend. Well, Figgy, the Mets will have 7 this week. We you put up the 30 minutes, and it's like the people at a concert who put up like Molly ? Cocaine ? That's how he did it.
That's why he's the best in the business.
I can't recover from that. The Mets will have a random doubleheader that makes up for.
You know what he's thinking right now? It wasn't so much the 30 minutes; it's the 2 hours to edit.
He's like, finish this.
2.5 hours to edit plus.
He's like, I got Kelsey Whitmore coming on in a minute. Shut your freaking fat ass mouth, Jake. All right, I will. Jeez, Hearts. You could have said it nicer. 4 against the Braves, or 3. Excuse me. 1, 2. I got to count it because this doubleheader is throwing me off. 4 against the Braves, 4 against the Phillies. This is 8 games in 7 days. We'll probably see David Peterson back, Figgy, for the doubleheader. Some interesting things pitching, but we get Bassett. You get McGill. You'll get Scherzer and Philly again. And this Mets-Phillies is spicy now with the hit-by-pitch Sunday night, the Yohan Lopez. And I think there's going to be some excitement at Citi Field. Now that Cano's gone, listen, at the no-hitter Friday, up 3-0. Fans still booing. Take him out. Booing McCann. Don't be that fan. When your team is winning, stop booing your own team. It's so early in the season. Don't be that guy, especially when your team is winning. They're not subbing out Cano mid-game. Sorry. They're going to leave him up. He's there. You're not pinch hitting for Robinson Cano. He's off the team now. You could stop the booing, and you could deal with the catchers not hitting because you're winning games, and they're doing things defensively and doing things for pitchers that really help Figgy. That's playing apart. All right, coming up next on Amazin But True. Enjoy your 4 games at City, and if you're going to Philly, enjoy that. We'll be back next Monday. But coming up next is the first woman to pitch in an MLB
to play.
First woman to play in a MLB partner league for the Staten Island FerryHawks. Kelsey Whitmore will join Amazin But True next. All right, joining us now on Amazin But True. Not a Mets guest, but a baseball-related guest who made some big news on Sunday. Now, as you know, my co-host here, Nelson Figueroa, is the pitching coach for the brand-new Staten Island FerryHawks. And one of their pitchers, hitters, outfielders, she does it all, is Kelsey Whitmore, who becomes the first woman to start a game for an MLB Partner League. And Kelsey, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your debut Sunday. How you feeling? Was it a whirlwind of emotions on Sunday?
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me. I mean, yesterday it felt like another day of baseball, really. I mean, I was excited to be out there and to get the opportunity to compete. And so, I mean, a lot of people were kind of been asking me if I was nervous, but I really just felt like another day of baseball, especially with the kind of the grind we got going on, games every day at the field every day. So kind of get into the groove of things. But no, it was a great day, and I had a good time.
And of course, the first ball that's put in play is hit right to you. You handle it flawlessly. You handle it flawlessly, as you have throughout camp and every day working during batting practice and taking balls off live hitting. You continue to impress. And that's one of the things that we talked about with the coaching staff, is that, you know, she's ready to play. She's ready to, she knows how to play the game. She's played the game for a long time. I think people have this idea like we just picked a random person out of the blue, and no, we're going to let her try and play baseball. Kelsey has done this for a long time, has had a lot of success at many different levels. This is just a very high level, and she handled it beautifully. Her very first time out there competing the whole while, the at-bats, putting the ball in play, and even taking one for the team. How's that feeling this morning?
It's you feeling a little more than I did yesterday, but it's really it's not a big deal. It wasn't really anything. So I mean, kind of had a feeling something was coming in on me after that first pitch. Through like I think it was a missed cutter or slider, but yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Well, OBP's up to 333, which isn't too bad. It's better than some of the Mets right now. Now you brush it off, but you know it is a big deal and it is a big story. Do you feel it? Like I assume you're getting the texts, you're getting the calls from people. Well, you've been doing it forever now. It obviously was a national story that, you know, made the waves. So do you feel that aspect of it? And I imagine you're very proud to be the first woman to do this.
I mean, definitely proud, definitely an honor. But it hasn't really gotten to me where it's kind of feeling overwhelming. I think it could be. I think the biggest thing for me is I visualize a lot of like the goals that I want to accomplish. I visualize myself in like pressured situations, or moments like today where or the other day, yesterday, where I was gonna start a game like that. I visualized, put myself in those situations, so I felt like I'd been there before. And so I mean, things haven't been too overwhelming, but the support has been great, and the people that have been there supporting me and everything has been awesome.
Yeah, it's not only your teammates, it's actually guys on the other team even have come up to you and have, come and introduced themselves to you. So that's got to be a really good feeling as well, to feel that there has been more acceptance than, originally that they thought there was going to be when we first announced that we had signed a female player. The internet kind of had some backlash, but until you got a chance to see her on the field and see what she's capable of doing, you really have to learn to appreciate that she is able to do this at such a high level and be just like one of the guys out there. And we were never worried, even with the bases loaded, the opposite field fly ball to you, and you go back to the warning track, handles it, throws it into the cutoff man, which is just textbook. Looked like she's been doing it for 10 years.
You get your first medal, Kelsey, when you were were you 15, 16 years old?
I want to say I was around that age. Felt like a while ago, but it was in 2015. In 2015 I got my first gold medal in the Pan Ams, and then in 2014 we won silver in Japan. So that's when I was 14 at the time when I made the team.
Wow. Compare those two, because then you might have felt over the world because you're so young. You haven't experienced it. I mean, you're in your Bieber fever stage of your life at that point, and now listen, I love Bieber too at 31. It's fine. But now you're an adult essentially, so it's two different worlds. Explain the two, and how you felt then versus now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was had been my goal growing up. One of my dreams to make the women's national team. Once I found out that there was, I found out a lot later in my baseball career. I mean, I guess around like 12, 13, which is still young, but at the time when you're playing since you're 6, it feels like later on. But found out about it, and I was like, oh, I mean, that's a goal of mine. I want to make that team and definitely be a part of it. So I did everything I could, and tried to get better, trained for it, and fortunately, I made it when I was 14, and that was the youngest age you could at the time. And I still believe it's the same thing now. So I made the team, and my best friend and I, we were both 14, and we both made the team that year. And the 2 days or about a week later, we were going to Japan, and it was like one of the first times we really had traveled out of the country. And then coming back with a medal. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't win gold, but still the experience was amazing. Playing in a different country, the culture is different, especially in Japan. Baseball is huge in Japan, so the culture there and the environment is incredible. And so it's definitely different than here in the States. But I mean, the experience was awesome. Winning gold in Canada, I think that was by far one of my favorite opportunities I had been given, and experiences that I had ever been a part of, just because we were surrounded by other athletes that had been that had previously been in the Olympics, or that were trying to get into the Olympics through the Pan Ams. And so we were in the Olympic Village. They call it the Olympic Village, where all the other athletes of all the different sports are. And it was a really cool experience, taking pictures with them, just seeing how they live day in, day out as Olympic athletes. And it's the same thing as a professional. I feel it's just they're training for something different than a pro start every day. Like they're training for something every 4 years, so they got to keep their body in shape. But it was a crazy experience. It was really cool, and then winning it on that field was even better, just because it was against one of our rivals, and we were able to get the W. So it was awesome.
Kelsey, talking about experiences, you've experienced your first pro trip, road trip of 12 days. Talk about exactly what that was like for you. Any surprises along the way?
It was definitely a little different than I expected. It's I didn't realize it was, after a 6:15, 7 o'clock game, end around 10, maybe 10:30, getting ready, like straight on the bus into the night, getting back at 4, 5 a.m. And then the next day, maybe having practice or an off day or whatever it's gonna be. But that was the part I wasn't expecting. I was like, this is not college. This is not college anymore. This is pro ball. So, which I honestly I kind of love it. In the moment, you're like, man, this is a grind because you're tired and you're like, you got to get up the next day and get after it. But then you're like, I love it because every other guy in there is doing the same thing that you're doing and wants the same thing that you want, and you're all in it together. Like it's just you're getting after it, and so that's what I love about it. And nobody's complaining. We're just there to get after it, and so. Yeah, but I think it's definitely been a cool experience so far. I love being a part of it on the road, just to say that I've been a part of that grind of a pro baseball player, where it's not everything is great all the times. Sometimes it's going to be hard and it's going to be rough, and then other times it's been great. And so so far it's pretty cool to experience.
Yeah, so Kelsey's been working with me tirelessly, trying to perfect her craft and when it comes to pitching. And that would be the biggest transition for her. She's faced, 90-mile-an-hour fastballs before. She's faced, a level of competition before, but the level of competition in where we're at in the Atlantic League, it's called a second chance league. So there's a lot of guys who are out of the major leagues, who played in the major leagues, guys who are looking for that second opportunity, who don't want to sign with an organization and just get thrown in to like a AA contract, but rather be a free agent for all the 30 teams and be seen playing against a high level of talent. That's why they're there. So Kelsey's been working in the bullpens and I feel, from the first day that we played catch together, she's now added 2 more pitches to her arsenal. She's able to understand more of how to make the ball move, how to set up hitters maybe a little bit differently because of the level that we're playing at. And she continues to work at getting better and better. And everybody comes to even watch her bullpens. They're like very impressed by the way that she works and how she's able to really command the strike zone. And then she has the thing, this knuckleball split thing that it's a great 2-strike pitch. She hasn't had a chance to do that yet. Your first opportunity as a pro, we brought you in as a pinch runner in the 9th inning, down by 2 runs, and you would have been the tying run. Can you tell everybody what you were thinking while you were on base at the time?
I mean, being an athlete and being competitive. I mean, when I was on the base, I was just thinking, well, one there was like chirping going on. There's for sure chirping going on. So it kind of, if you know me now, like the chirping is not going to really put me down like it did before. It's just going to fire me up. And so, and just use it as fuel, really. So there's chirping going on with the fans, and I was like, all right, like this guy off the bat needs, if he hits his ball behind me as the runner, it's anything to the right side, hopefully in the gap, I'm hauling it. Like I'm hauling it. I'm getting there. Anything on the line, I'm gonna try to score this run right now. And so yeah, no, I was just thinking, like, I'm gonna go hard. Like I'm going hard anyway, anyhow. If it means I'm going into that catcher, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Like, so I was pretty fired up. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but I was ready to do whatever. Like I was ready to do whatever.
We had a high chopper that went over the first baseman, and it was kind of going in that trajectory down the line. If the second baseman doesn't get to it, it clears him. And they were playing over in a shift, so it would have been kind of in that right field corner, like she was saying. So she would have had a chance to score. And that was the first thing I had asked her. I go, what were you thinking out there? And first thing she mentioned was, man, they were talking all game long, but then when I put a helmet on, they really started getting on me. Like, I'm not fast. She's like, oh my God, please put it in the gap so I can try and score. And if I have to truck somebody, I will. And I was like, all right, this is real.
What is some of the chirping? Like, what do people say? What are some of the things that you've heard so far?
I only had a taste of it there in Charleston, small taste of it there. And it was just kind of that, just saying, like, like, oh, she's not good enough, she's not fast enough, like just pick her off, like little stuff like that. And the past, I think it was Maryland and North Carolina weren't bad at all. It was really that Charleston game where I heard some chirping. So I mean, it happens. It comes with it. It's they weren't just doing it with me, like they were doing it with some of the guys too.
Mhm.
So I mean, it happens, part of the game.
Is that something that you've kind of overcome over the years? Has it happened before? And do you have a form of like a punching bag that you imagine that fan at home that you let your anger out on? How do you overcome that?
I mean, a couple years ago when I played indie ball, there used to be some like negative comments that'd be said, especially through social media. At the time, I was a fool because I'd read it, I'd look at it because it's hard to not see what people say about you. So I read it, and it affected me so badly. And I think part of it, I was young, didn't know how to handle it. But now I think there's even more comments than there was before, whether good or bad. I just think there's more now, and I just stay away from the comment section. I don't look at that. The only stuff I look at is I just tell myself, let's look at good stuff. So I'm only looking at the stuff people send me, people tell me, people who support me. I'm going to read that. I'm going to invest in that. I'm going to put my mind to that because I only need good energy, and I only want to be surrounded by good energy, good vibes. That's my motto. That's my mindset. I don't need any bad energy around me. So yeah, that's kind of what I think about. But if there is people that say stuff, I mean, you kind of just have to flush it. You really got to flush it. And that's where, you can test your mindset, how strong it is or not. And you got to stay true to who you are, know who you are as an athlete, what you've worked for, and just stay surrounding yourself with good people. So that's just kind of my mindset with it.
Yeah, I've got to give the team in Gastonia. They did a tremendous job. She made her debut, historic as it was, and they announced it as she's coming out of the dugout. They had it up on the jumbotron already with a picture of her with her USA jersey on still. But as she's coming out of the dugout, a big, huge round of applause. And the support in Gastonia was really nice to see. It was even before she got to play. There are little girls coming around. There's boys. There's fans of baseball who are realizing, this is something special that's happening, and they're staying to try and get her autograph. And in Charleston, I walked her down the line because she's like, "Do I have to sign autographs?" She was so mad because they were chirping. She was, "Do I have to sign the autographs?" I go, "We're on the road. You don't have to do anything, right?" But as we're walking, they had this thing they do in minor leagues. They put down hula hoops, and people throw tennis balls to try and get in the hula hoops. And some of these jerks were throwing the tennis balls at us. And they realized how bad that was. They apologized to us in the whole 9 yards. They said, we got overzealous, handed out the tennis balls early while you guys were walking off the field. I go, yeah, I get it. It's not a big deal. But like she said, she's prepared herself for all this, and she's going through this, and it's very unique to her. And so it's hard to find anyone for her to talk to on any kind of level when you're doing something that's truly groundbreaking like this. And I'm so excited because now she's gotten her feet wet as a pinch runner. She's gotten her feet wet, as a batter, gotten hit with a pitch. She's made a play in the outfield or two. And now the next step is to get her out there on the mound. And that's where I'm most confident in, because all the work that she's put into this, it's going to be something that's going to surprise a lot of people.
Are you going to surprise some people, Kelsey? And if you don't, you just blame Figgy, please. Put all the blame on him for being a terrible pitching coach.
I mean, I'm ready to compete. That's all my mindset is since the beginning, is here to compete, get after it. And, there's going to be days it's going to come with failure. And the best way I can do if that does happen is we got tomorrow. Come back to tomorrow, get after it, work on it. I can't hold on to things. We don't have time here to do that. So, I'm just ready to compete.
Well, I want to come out and see your pitch. So if you know in advance, Figgy, give me the inside scoop.
You think you get an inside edge?
You want to be the John Heyman for us here. Source. She will pitch tonight. All right, I'll hop on the damn ferry and go out to Staten Island and make my way out there. Well, Kelsey Whitmore, we're excited for you, pumped for you. This is a big moment. I imagine, I'll close on this, that you have to have some pride when you have a a little girl, a young girl come up to you and, it makes them believe that they could do what you do. And I have to imagine that's kind of the heartwarming feeling, like a lesson taught in an episode of Full House or something, a nice heartwarming feeling when you do something like that, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'm really happy that I can be someone that these younger girls could look up to and be able to just be inspired by and motivated by. I never had like a female role model growing up. My dad was really the one that I kind of stood by and looked up to, and so I want to be what I didn't have growing up for these younger girls and these athletes in general. And so yeah, no, it's a great feeling, and I hope I can only just inspire more people.
Kelsey Whitmore, go check her out. San Diego product, one of my favorite new cities now. I can't wait to potentially go back in June. Check her out, Staten Island FerryHawks. They open their season Tuesday at home. You could see Figgy in the dugout. Maybe he'll pitch at one point, and I'll be out there taking BP at some point. Maybe Kelsey will strike me out a few times.
That's easy.
And I'll be fine with that. Kelsey, appreciate you coming on Amazing But True, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All righty, Figgy. That'll say goodnight to episode 102 of Amazing But True, our Mets podcast from the New York Post.
That almost rhymed.
Well, I am a rapper, so it happens.
You say so.
Well, does this make me more of a rapper? So I got these for $10 on the streets of Astoria. They reeked Jake Brown. Like,
they
were
reek
like,
Big Lebowski.
No, they reek pimp.
They reek gun range, bro.
You don't think they're cool?
Pull.
I think they're kind of cool. I actually wore them at night. I was wearing them at night at the game Friday.
At night, even better.
It was probably pretty
my
clowny
God.
to wear those, but you don't like them? I like the shade. They're like gold. They're like kind of mysterious. Shadow.
There's nothing mysterious. I can see your eyes.
Yeah, but
What's
they're
so
mysterious. Can you say that in Spanish? Mysterious.
Misterioso.
Misterioso. They're very misterioso.
They're literally the glasses that John Goodman wore in The Big Lebowski.
All right.
And he's holding a gun.
So call me Johnny G, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Jakey B and Johnny G on the ones and twos. You get your chicken palm at Nino's in Astoria. I also have we'll close the show out with this, actually, because I forgot about this and I forgot to play this. I'll queue up a compilation of Mets fan reactions I got for the season. We'll close the show out with that and what they think. But, thanks to me, Andrew Hartz, for producing the show.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, because you can do that now. And if you don't subscribe or your friend doesn't subscribe, please subscribe to the Amazing But True podcast.
Where should you follow us on Twitter?
At Amazing But True.
Anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Don't follow Peggy. All right, for Nelson Figueroa, I'm Jake Brown. Andrew Hartz will return next Monday. Enjoy the 4 games. And we'll close out the show with what fans are thinking about the Mets' hot start to the season. But as always, we'll close with this, Figgy.
Let's go Mets.
Gasper from Long Island here. Gasper, your thoughts on the season so far?
So far, this season is better than I ever expected. The no-hitter Friday just put me in a state of mind where this team is much different than the last 10 years, if that. I don't even think the 2015 Mets had this aura around it. They all like each other. McNeil's learning Spanish. Like, that's insane. No-hitter Friday. It's a great feeling right now to be in Flushing, Queens as a Mets fan.
That's right, Nelson Figueroa. It's the Jeff McNeil Spanish Academy coming soon. Steve from Long Beach, let's see if you could top Gasper from Long Island, your fellow brethren. Your thoughts, your excitement built around the season. Is this a world championship team?
A world championship team. We're going to win this year. We're going to win next year. We're going to win every year. We have Max Scherzer. The other day, there was a no-hitter. He's going to throw 7 more no-hitters. Are you kidding me? The other guys we added this season, Starling Marte, incredible. Escobar, incredible. The bullpen, a little rough right now, but we're going to get it back. We're going to dominate. Mets forever.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, folks.
All right, Amazing But True here with Billy from Long Island, from Riverhead. Billy, thoughts on the Mets season?
There's a lot of reason for optimism. The team's playing well. It seems like they're really gelling. There's not really a weak link of the team. They're all playing for each other. And first place, 4 games up early. We'll see how the season goes.
World Series or bust?
World Series, baby. I'll see you there.
Let's go, Mets!